Okay, so today we are on February 5th, and you'll notice that we're going to be pretty much finishing up, if you would, module number 3. I do have some people that have already kind of shot ahead and done some of the application problems already, which is awesome. But we do have one practice problem to finish here in module 3, which then you'll be really set up nicely to have a couple example problems to finish up what I have assigned for you in the application problems. But the question came up about our first unit assessment here, okay? Our unit assessment. So the unit assessment that we have is going to be on modules 1, 2, and 3, okay? Modules 1, 2, and 3. Now, as we look back, and I'm going to actually, as long as we're here, I'm going to kind of go back over to technical statics, and we'll look at our modules. And you'll notice here, module 1, this was our math review. I thought I had math review on there. I was going to look at the title. This was our math review. Okay. So it was looking at kind of algebra, 2 equations, 2 unknowns, and then also some trig. And it was really just kind of setting us up for what is going to be the most that we're going to be using, if you would, in kind of those areas, getting us set for that. Then in module 2, we looked at resultants of concurrent force systems. So force systems that share the same point. Okay. So that was module 2. Then module 3, which we're currently in, is looking at equilibrium of concurrent force systems and solving for unknown variables, knowing the conditions of equilibrium are present and applying then the rules or the equations. So we're currently in 3 here. So our unit assessment here is going to cover those 3 modules. Now, I will tell you right away, there will not be an algebra, 2 equations, 2 unknowns, or a trig problem on there, like formally like we had in that first module. And the reason being is we've done each of those in problems. I'm not going to waste your time or my time writing anything that is going to be specific to that, because that's like a prerequisite to the class. So it's going to really primarily be on modules 2 and 3. And it's not going to be the challenge problem. So at the end, we always had like one challenge problem kind of in each one that was maybe a little bit different. It's going to represent, for instance, show calculate for me and show the rectangular components of a force. Okay. And I'll give you what that magnitude is and what the angle is. Then you've got to show the rectangular components, show me the calculations, something like that. Then using the rectangular component method, determine the resultant of. It's going to be a problem like that. And then there's probably going to be one more, using the rectangular component method, solve for the tension in blah, blah, blah cable and blah, blah, blah cable. Here's your diagram. So kind of one at least of each, maybe 2, here and there, but that's what I'm going to do. It's really just extra problems, making sure that you know how to do it independently. Okay. So, so that's what the unit assessment is. I don't look at it in any way, shape, or form more than just, you're just going to do an extra couple problems for me just before we move on. Okay. Now that is open book, open note. And it does relate to the largest percentage of your grade. I think, I forget, actually, I shouldn't say that out loud. So practice problems are 20%, connect assignments are 10, application problems are 30, and unit assessments are 40. Okay. So they're 40%. And there's going to be, I think, 3 of them in here, right, that we have planned. And they're open book, open note. I don't want anybody to be nervous about them. But one of the reasons that I'm kind of, I kind of want to make sure that your formatting is all good is so that you don't have to start shuffling through your book, or you don't have to, do any of that, because you have everything laid out really nicely in your notes and you can just duplicate what's there. Additionally, the formatting that I've been requiring in the practice problems, or showing you in the practice problems, having you apply in the application problems, is the formatting that's expected and you're graded on in the unit assessment. So if you're missing arrowheads and units and not showing your work, then you're getting points off in those other places. If you continue that in the unit assessment, that's also going to be points off there as well. And remember, unit assessment is one shot. Okay. So practice problems, kind of one shot, because I'm giving you the answers, if you would, we're doing those together. But in the application problems, you get a chance to correct, but not on the unit assessments. Okay. Because now at this point, you've gotten practice, you've gotten application, and now you're just doing me a couple extra problems. So I don't want to put pressure on you, but yet I want you to pay attention to details. And I want you to make sure that as you're going through the application problems, things that I'm marking up or things that I'm saying during our lectures, you need to pay attention to those and apply those. Okay. So, so that's why also, because we're going to be taking this unit assessment in class next week, Monday, you have to be here. That's not a virtual option. And you want to have units at least, well, modules 1, 2, and 3 done and graded so that you can use them. If you don't hand in module 3 is due at the end of this week, okay? And our unit assessment is on Monday. I'll have those graded for you. I know I will, okay? You guys have probably been seeing me turn them around relatively quickly, okay? So that you have that opportunity to make those corrections and so that they don't get past the due date if you can make corrections. But you do have that 7-day grace period next week for the module 3. And if you don't get module 3 done, you're kind of at risk of not doing very well on that unit assessment, okay? Because the application is there for the practice so that you're like ready for that assessment. Does that make sense? So, so you can take the grace period still on module 3. That's fine, but just know that you may not have what you need to be as successful as you could be on that unit assessment. Okay. Chris, does that answer your question? Now, do I do a review? I don't have a planned review, but what I'll ask you on Wednesday is I'll say in module 2, are there any types of questions that you want to go over? And I'll do more. And then I'll say in module 3, are there any questions that you want to go over? Okay. And then I'll do more. But if I don't get anybody saying, oh, I'd like to do another one like blah, 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 then I'm just like, okay, then we'll move on. All right. Not that I don't think it's a good use of our time, but I also don't want to waste anybody's time because we've spent a lot of time on this already. We've done practice problems, which you guys, that's a lot. And then you also do the application problem, which is a lot. So by this time, my hope is you feel like doom. You're good at it, right? And you're like, this is a piece of cake and the assessment is just something you got to do. And that's why I don't call it a test or a quiz. All right. Because I feel like that feels like nervous. Okay. Other questions? Anything else on the assessment? And we'll talk about it again on Wednesday for sure. All right. But at least if you have any questions, open note, open book. So, you're on your honor, but I will allow you to open up the book on your computer or on a laptop. It's fine. All right. But I will tell you, you probably won't even need it, quite honestly, because your work, your application problems that you have are going to be like what you need. Okay. So being able to look through those and be organized. So yeah, open book, open note. It's fine, but closed neighbor. So you can't use your friends. Sorry. All right. Yes.
Once we finish the assessment,
I know, that's a great question. How should we do that? Let's look at the calendar. So Jack's question is, once we're done with the assessment, can we leave? That would be nice, wouldn't it?
yeah,
It's not going to take 5 hours. I do have module 4 there. So what we'll do is we'll know more on Wednesday or Thursday. I keep saying Wednesday. On Thursday, when we do this one, because we'll finish up any questions you have on module 3. We'll start looking at for sure module 4. And if we get far enough in module 4, we may be able to say leave after the assessment, but we may not. Okay. And I might maybe do module 4 first if we need to continue on and then keep the assessment at the end. So anyway, so I'll kind of play that by ear. Good question though. Others, as we're looking here at the calendar? Okay. Then what we will do is we'll kind of get back to the calendar. So you'll notice here, module 3, we're talking about, we're finishing up really module 3 today. And then module 3 application problems, practice problems, and connect are due at the end of this week. Set date too. But remember, we have 7-day grace period. You can hand them in here without penalty, but remember that it's going to be to your advantage to use them on the unit assessment. Okay. So that's what we're working towards. And then starting module 4 later this week. Any questions? Did I tell you guys, and I'm just going to let you know now, if I haven't formally told you, because I won't know until this week. Did I tell you that I got a letter about jury duty the week of March 4th? Did I tell you guys that? I did.
it was like the first week.
Yeah, I thought I knew it right before school started. So what I'm trying to do is kind of, maybe we can even have that week off. All right, because just in case, if I end up not having to go in, and many times I don't think they have to, but I've got to call day of each day that week. So I won't know except for those days. What's nice is I know a lot of jury duty a lot of times is a full month. This is just 1 week. And I got to call in every day to see. So I'll kind of alert you as we get closer to this, but my goal is to, if we can move ahead on some of these things and move through them a little bit more quickly, I want to, so that in the event that that week I'm not able to, to be here, then we have that option. Okay, just so that you know, because I don't know how long a jury goes. Like if I get on a jury, will they be done at 4 o'clock? I don't know. And that's all the way up in Port Washington. So it's kind of in the opposite direction. So I'm just like, I'm trying to kind of move forward. So anyway, so that's kind of another little variable in the background that's not for you to worry about, but as we get closer, I might be pushing ahead a little bit on some things. Okay. So it doesn't seem like there's any other questions. So I'm going to stop this recording now, and then we'll start by finishing up module 3.